Mobile data connections and services continue to grow strongly in countries such as Nigeria, South Africa and Kenya, amongst others. But the continent still lags behind most of the world in terms of data validity and high-speed broadband connectivity. Nigeria's Communications Minister, Honorable Adebayo Shittu, joins us on the show to discuss the state of technology in Nigeria.
Honorable Minister, welcome to Tech Trend.
It's my pleasure being here.
So tell me, one of the burning issues that Nigerians have today is the issue of data validity, where if your data still remains but expires, you lose it. What's your take on that?
Well, I had cause out of concern for the uncharitable manner that data validity is being, managed to invite operators to inform them that on behalf of Nigerians, it is proper and it is better for them to roll over whatever data is available. For instance, if someone buys data of 4,000 and he does not, exhaust it over a 1 month period, it shouldn't automatically, get depleted. I mean, because time was when in this country we were operating per minute billing. And the impression was given at that time that it was not possible for something separate to be done, which would be, more sympathetic of the pulse of Nigerians, until Glo came on board and changed the whole scenario to per second billing. So if Glo has been able to do that with regard to, voice activation and voice communication, it should be possible even for data to be so rolled over. So I have pleaded with them, we would at the appropriate time look into it if by themselves the telecommunication companies refuse to do the needful.
One of the challenges that the operators say they face is the issue of right of way. What would you do about it during your time?
Well, the issue of right of way, we're in a federation. And federation means we have the federal government, which I belong to. The state government is also there, the local governments are there. Because of these, desperation to make money out of every available opportunity, a lot of, some of these governments are almost stifling development of ICT connectivity through exorbitant taxation. We have a situation in this country today where, companies laying cables will have to pay for right of way. They have to pay federal government for federal roads. They have to pay state government for state roads. They have to pay even local government who claim to also own roads. And at times, even wards and area boys would also lay siege and say that they deserve to be paid for this. We are trying to, we have an initiative to try to talk to governors, through the Governors Forum, to let them see the sense in supporting the development of ICT, because ICT is very essential and very critical for general overall development. We would appeal to them so that if we could have just one platform, there must be synergy in the sense that, both, they will have to pay just one tax for right of way, and then the various governments will find the means of sharing this equitably among themselves, rather than this multiplicity of taxes which are being uncharitably imposed on telecommunications companies.
Honorable Minister, you just came back from South Korea. What did you learn from that trip?
Number one, I discovered that for a country to, achieve greatness, does not have to be based on material resources alone. The most important resource which God has created for humanity is the brain. I learned from Korea the fact of discipline, the fact of using the brain to achieve what those who have physical and material resources cannot achieve or have not been able to achieve. Korea is a peninsula of about 50 million people. They don't have oil, they don't have petroleum. They had been conquered by Japan for more than 40 years under colonization. And yet, after the Japan-Korea War, they became liberated, and their leaders decided that they must grow. Their leaders decided that there's nothing that anybody does that they cannot do. And they took the bull by the horn. They began to ensure that innovations are applied. They began to invest in research and development. And today, Korea has achieved everything that China, the big brother, has achieved in terms of technological development and specifically ICT development. So one of the things I've learned from Korea is the fact that no city can grow without it going the smart way. Smart way means digitalization. Digitalization means that, we must de-emphasize, we must de-emphasize, for instance, money in transactions, particularly in relation to government. Government services have to be, made online and so on. And that is one. Number two, they have also developed perfection, if I may say, in what is called e-governance. E-governance is to ensure that governance is made more efficient and more transparent by the use of technology. So we learn, particularly because Korea has been really assisting Nigeria in the area of training of manpower over the last few years. Right now, as I'm talking, they are building 2 institutes for e-governance training in Abuja. So we went there to, be part of the training and to also see some of the achievements that they have attained, in so many areas of technological and, ICT development.
With the continuous changes in the ICT world, government agencies cannot afford to lag behind in the old ways of communicating and interacting. Therefore, continuous reforms, especially in improving the information management systems in government, becomes necessary.
Yeah, but talking about e-governance, how ready are we?
Well, I would say we're not yet ready, unfortunately. Even if a country as small as Rwanda, with a population of just 12 million, has attained, immense success in, e-governance. But we are trying to, start. My ministry is taking the bull by the horn by, for instance, creating target deadlines. And we are starting with the ministry. The ministry, by the grace of God, within the next 3 months, we want to digitalize all our operations such that there will no more be the need for paper documentation. Everything will be done online. Of course, the challenge of electricity is there, but we will try to, look at how best to achieve result in that. After our own 3 months, the next 6 months we will, we would also, persuade other ministries and departments to key into it and to also imitate what we must have achieved. And then it go on and on and on like that. One good thing which impresses me, in the case of Rwanda, which I mentioned, is the fact that in Rwanda, they have 4,000 public buses, all of which are connected to the internet. I mean, that's a magnificent achievement. I think we must also look inward to see that even though Nigeria is a much larger country, but we must start from somewhere, and the way to go is the way of ICT.
Honorable Minister, there used to be a broadband committee that had some milestones they set for the broadband initiative in Nigeria. What has happened to that committee, and what's the progress now?
Well, the committee is, the broadband problem is a national problem which you will very well know, because there's so much competition now. And over the years, particularly with the last administration, I'm sorry I have to make reference to it because they had been in government for all of 16 years, during which there were a lot of manipulations and a lot of distortions. We are just, trying to reorganize and to make sure that we set up a transparent administration of broadband management. And I want to assure you that within the next couple of months, a lot of things will be reorganized to ensure that there's confidence in the system of broadband management.
So I guess the 30% goal that we earlier had will not be attainable.
Well, we will certainly will make progress. We are anxious, and very dynamic in our outlook towards ensuring that everything that needs to be done to grow the entire ICT sector is done. So I want to assure you and assure Nigerians that we are on top of the situation.
Okay, I commend you for the IT retreat that was held in Ibadan shortly before when you came into office. What has happened to the report of that retreat?
Well, by the grace of God, what we did after the retreat, took place, we set up various committees to develop various sectors of the entire ICT, sector. We also ensured that we brought in private operators so that it's not only a government affair alone. These committees are, have been working and making, a lot of input, into the process. I believe that within a week or two, we will have the final copy of our roadmap, which will be due for implementation. So at that stage, we'll also have to set up implementation committees to drive the processes.
Honorable Minister, just before I let you go, what would you like to be remembered for after the tenure is over?
Well, number one, I'm a humble public servant, and I'm in government to serve the public. And, having been given the portfolio of ICT, which today is the most critical sector of governance, I want to be remembered for being the Minister of ICT of Communications who came, had the humility to learn from operators, had the patience to listen to all stakeholders, and had the courage to collaborate with all operators to ensure that policies and programs which will advance the cause of ICT development in Nigeria are put in place. My ultimate ambition is to ensure that by the time I leave office, Nigeria would have been 100% covered by, broadband penetration.
Thank you for chatting with us today.
Thank you for having me on this program.